Love to know more about that.
Well, it's really interesting because it's obviously, as you said, to remove excess tissue fluids, right? It produces immune and antibody cells that destroy bacteria. So basically, the lymphatic system, because of the nodes, the ducts, the vessels, as well as the spleen, the appendix, the tonsils, and the thymus, right? It's everywhere. It begins to break down when you're feeling vulnerable, scared, unsupported, unloved, and rejected. So here you need to kind of focus on practicing courage and self-esteem and leadership. Like focus on appreciating yourself, loving yourself, and creating a really supportive environment where you can feel comfortable to feel creative and lively and spontaneous.
Welcome to the Holistic Truth Podcast. I'm Jamie Dorley, CEO of Nutritional Frontiers.
And I'm Christine Genovese, creator of the Soul Intelligence Method. We're here to help you break through chronic disease and dysfunction physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically.
With real proven strategies, protocols, and tools you can use in your practice today. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. We're so excited to be live at the Holistic Truth, your number one podcast for natural health, healing, and wellness. I'm your host, Jamie Dorley. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nutritional Frontiers. We're making the world and your world healthy. And I have back the lovely and talented, looking gorgeous, Happy New Year to our Chief Growth Officer. She is my partner in crime and also the creator of the Soul Intelligence Method. Welcome back, Christine Genovese.
Well, thanks, Jamie. I'm happy to be here. It's fun kicking off the new year with you and, getting all this like new energy. I don't know if you've been paying attention to, any of the astrology that's going on, but, if you look at like the Chinese New Year, right? They,
Uh-oh.
I
Let's
know, look
hear it.
out. Last year was the year of the snake, and the snake
Mm.
represents transformation and shedding and getting rid of all the stuff you don't want, right?
A lot of
And then
shedding, yes.
yes, and then this year is like, the year of the wood horse, so it's all about forward
Mm.
momentum like a horse
Mm.
running down a beach, and so we wanna make sure that we completely got rid of everything we don't need in, 2025 so that we don't keep carrying it with us in '26. So I'm excited to talk detox with you
Oh,
today.
I'm excited to hear it because, I'm ready to get on that horse on the beach and full steam ahead, right? And people always ask me, yeah, I need to do a cleanse. Like I hear about cleanses all the time. And I says, well, the old days you would do a water cleanse, right? You would just drink water. And what
Mm.
they found out is that your body needs nutrients. It's a very nutrient dependent process in the body to detox. And we're going to talk about the importance of nutrients and the 4 different phases of detoxification. Your body cleanses in a healthy way every day, but you need the right nutrients because then they started doing, remember, people do a juice fast. And what they
Mm.
found is you're giving your body a lot of juice and nutrients, but it's a lot of sugar and there's no amino acid support. There's no antioxidants you really need. So the modern day detoxification program needs to address all 4 phases. However, before we even get into that, most people don't even know if they're toxic or not. So have you taken the toxicity test? Do you know what the toxicity test is?
Right. Well, the cool thing is that we have a really easy toxicity test. And if you go to the Nutritional Frontiers website, which is just www.nutritionalfrontiers.com, you will see a banner there and you can click on it to take our toxicity test. You can download it, print it out, you can use it, you can share it with your patients and really get a quick hit on how toxic we are.
Is it expensive to take the Nutritional Frontiers toxicity test?
Well, that's the cool part. It is free.
And how long does it take to get the results?
Not very long. Minutes.
Is there any needles or pain or anything like that? I don't like that.
No.
Cool. So the nice thing about the toxicity test is on one side, it looks at symptoms, right? How toxic are you? But the part I really like, Christine, is the back of it. It's the toxicity tolerability test. People may not realize taking things like Advil or Tylenol adds your toxicity. Of course, they know about drinking and smoking, but fast foods and caffeine and artificial colorings and flavorings and dyes, these all add to your toxic load. So what happens with these toxins over time is they build up in the body.
Mm.
And you need to be able to take these toxins because they're fat soluble. So where would you store fat soluble toxins?
In your fat cells.
Yeah. So the fat cells become
I was
swollen
like,
and
"Is that a trick
inflamed.
question?"
Yeah, you got it. You're with me. Okay, we're
Okay.
good. Yeah, you store these in fat cells, right? So when
Mm.
people after the holidays, this time of the year, they're a little more inflamed, they're a little more bloated, maybe the pants are a little more snug, the socks are making a little indentation on their leg. They're not quite in their fighting shape. And that's okay, right? We celebrate during the holidays, but now we're in the new year. We need to know how toxic we are is number one, and then we need a really comprehensive approach that's backed by science and recommended by doctors and healthcare professionals so you can actually take these fat soluble toxins and
Yep.
break them down over four phases in the body so they become harmless water soluble molecules they can simply excrete. And we detoxify in five different ways. So one is exhalation, just taking some deep breathing. Two, perspiration. I know you like to sweat out there on the tennis courts or sitting in the sun in Florida. So sweating is a good way to detoxify. The other way is, of course, with bowel movements and urination. And the last part, during your stages of life, if people are in a female is still in that phase of having cycles, healthy menstrual cycles. So sweating, exhaling, urination, bowel movements, and menstrual cycles. So you need to detoxify in a healthy way every day. I've had clients, from doing my nutritional consults where they would come in, they may have two bowel movements per week. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Someone told me that based on the number of meals you have is how many bowel movements you should have in a day. Is that right?
Dr. Wani say if you eat 3 times a day, you should have 3 bowel movements.
Okay.
For most of us, it's probably a little much, but you should at least have 1 or 2, right? That's pretty much how our bodies work. Mornings is usually a time when the body has detoxified all night. Usually you'll have that morning bowel movement. You have another one during the day, great. You probably don't need to have too many. And bowel movements should be like a tube of toothpaste, a fresh one. Should come out real easy, not a lot of squeezing or twisting or turning. Should
Oh
be
my
really
God.
clean. Hey, it's a topic that we
Got
talk
to know
about.
what you're looking at, I suppose. My goodness.
Well, it's a seriously, most people don't have healthy bowel movements. And if you're not detoxifying in a healthy way every day, those toxins build up over time and they affect the endocrine system, they affect the brain, the nervous system. There's so many things that are affected by it. So let's quantify how toxic we are. Let's go on the detox program, and then we can do the retest 1 week, 1 month, whatever distance you're going on the toxicity program.
That makes sense. Well, when I think about toxins, right? I always think about all the toxins in our life, not just physically what's in the body, but
Uh-oh.
mentally and emotionally, right? What are we allowing into our brains? Like what are we listening to? What are we watching? Who are we around? What are those people like? You're around these energetic vampires, you see them calling, you're just cringing, you don't want to talk to them. So toxicity is also, what we're putting into the body mentally, emotionally, and physically. And when I think about some of the physical stuff, right, we talk about, the glyphosate that's been used on the crops, the Roundup,
Uh,
and it's produced a toxic food supply. And although we're getting rid of some of those dyes, they have, like all the food dyes, a lot of them have been in the food supply for decades. So it's more than just that, it's also microplastics and heavy metals.
yeah, think about the glyphosate for a minute. These are endocrine disruptors.
Oh,
Have you seen kids, going through puberty sooner?
mm,
Have you seen, females with menstrual cycle issues? Or, right now it's 25 to 30% of people have problems with conceiving, right?
mm.
And then you got all the hormone issues as we grow older. But these toxins are endocrine disruptors, number one, and they're very difficult to get out of the body. That's why you need very specific PRTs, our patented research trademarked ingredients that have the research that shows they can actually attach to these toxins and remove them out of the body. It's called chelation or actually attaching to them to get them through. So let's look at it. Great picture. I love this picture. Thank you.
Thought you might.
Yeah, and this is looking at the detoxification pathways. Again, energy dependent process is four phases that you're going through. The liver, and I'm simplifying this, right, for purposes of education. Liver is really phase one and phase two. And in phase one, you have a fat soluble toxin that you got to break down to a water soluble toxin in phase two. The challenge is, Christine, this is like a rotten egg in the fridge. If you take that and just put it into the trash can in the kitchen and you don't remove it from the house, what's going to happen to that?
Stink up the house.
Going to get worse, right? So when you go through phase one, that takes a lot of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. But in between phase one and two is the garbage can. There's an intermediate compound. This is a lot more toxin than the original toxin. If you don't get this to phase two, this is where most people break down. If you don't get it to phase two, and then convert it to the water soluble molecule, it'll go around in the body and create havoc. So why do people have such challenges with this? Because they don't have the nutrients in their diet that you really need in phase two. A lot of those are going to be cruciferous vegetables that you get from like broccoli and onions and cauliflower and things like that. Again, garlic coming back up, right? You also need amino acids. Most people don't eat enough protein in their diet. So we
Mm.
have specific amino acids in things like our ultimate shake, our super shakes, clean collagen protein that's going to address that. So it's really important that people get the right nutrients they need in for phase one and phase two. Then you have the water soluble molecule. Then that's easily passed through bowel movements, urination, exhalation, or perspiration. So we have a clean and lean kit. What's in the clean and lean kit?
Well, that is our ultimate shake, our proline greens, and our live complete.
Yeah, we start with the ultimate shake and greens because this is food. Do you know most of the toxins people ingest are by choice that they eat or drink, over the counter prescription medications? And a lot of it's from what they think is healthy food. These breakfast bars people are eating, even the overconsumption of fruit or juice in the morning. The ultimate shake has all the macronutrients we need: protein, carbs, fats, and fiber, plus all the micronutrients, and not only the micronutrients, but in the right forms. So we have active vitamins, tracks, covalent bonded chelated minerals. We have all the key amino acids you need, plus all the antioxidants and liver support. This is all in the shake. Have you tried the ultimate shake before?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's one of the few things I can get my mom to do on a regular basis. So that's saying a lot. And the reason it is because it tastes great. She used to use our vanilla ultimate shake with our chocolate proline greens, but now that we have
Uh-oh.
chocolate ultimate shake, she's double chocolate all the way.
Double up the ketchup. Yeah.
And we also have it in the pineapple coconut flavor, which I know people absolutely love too.
Yeah, so you can do pineapple coconut with the apple jacks or the apple cinnamon greens. You can do the chocolate and chocolate. Some people have actually done chocolate ultimate shake with apple cinnamon greens. So you have a lot of flexibility on the program too, because we don't want to suffer from something called flavor fatigue, right? So at Nutritional Frontiers, we have plenty of options for you. And so we like to fortify the shakes with one of our pro colors. And the big one for cleansing, of course, is the Proline Greens. We have it in the chocolate and also the apple cinnamon. So this has not only all your superfoods, but we fortified it with our patented research trademark ingredients, such as Imodium, which is our patented glutathione. That's a very difficult to absorb nutrient. So the emollient's actually been studied against NAC and generic glutathione and absorbs 140% better. We have things in here like non-corn, non-GMO vitamin C. We have active folate. You don't see active folic acid in the greens powder. These are all fortified in the greens so that you get not only the superfoods, but prebiotics, probiotics, enzymes, vitacholine, glutathione, all the superfoods all in one. So when you do a scoop of the greens with a scoop of the ultimate shake, you have your 90 essential nutrients in for your day. You could live on this. It's probably one of the healthiest meals you can have because we know what's in it and more importantly, what's not in it.
Well, I love that if you just take our Ultimate Shake and Proline Greens, you get everything on the nutritional pyramid, like literally everything you need. You don't even have to take a multi, which is kind of amazing if you're on those two.
Yeah, so if people are starting out, they want to simplify their program or they just want to do a cleanse, do the ultimate shake and greens. And as you said it best, it's all of the nutrients in the great pyramid of health. So what's that? Prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes, macro and micronutrients, essential fatty acids, and phytonutrients all in one. You can do a whole program on one scoop of each per day for less than $5, less than a cup of coffee.
I love it. And then when you throw in Live Complete, now you've got the clean and lean kit.
Yeah, that's what I love is that we added in the Live Complete. This is like the greens in a capsule plus our Live Clear. So we wanted to make sure that we had a capsule version that had the therapeutic ingredients in here. And interesting enough, if you look at this, really cool formulation. So one is we have the emodian, right? We have the patented research glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant of the liver. You know, all these other nutrients, glutamine and N-acetylcysteine and taurine, they're all leading up to glutathione production. And glutathione was a little difficult to absorb throughout, the history of the usage, but the Imodium absorbs more effectively than any other glutathione orally in the world. We use in here cracked cell chlorella. That way it's more bioavailable, and that's one of the superfoods. In fact, NASA claimed that the original superfood. Now there's so many superfoods, but it was really chlorella and spirulina. I love, of course, DMG. What is DMG?
It is dimethylglycine, otherwise known as damn mighty good.
Yes. Yeah, 3 US patents on that, including rheumatoid arthritis and melanoma. So this capsule version, I love this actually for weight loss. I
Mm.
feel it really helps me detoxify. You'll notice that you are using the restroom a little more to help clear out some of these toxins, but it's a comprehensive formulation. We even have the curcumin in here, which is the number one curcumin formula. So this has about 8 ingredients in one. It's a simple to use capsule, and you could do this as a standalone. However, we do recommend because a lot of toxins come in from people's food and you don't want to do a water or juice fast. You want to make sure you are giving your body the nutrients you need to preserve lean body mass, your muscle, while you're burning fat and reducing excess water. So, Live Complete 3 capsules, 1 scoop of Ultimate Shake, and 1 scoop of greens. And that is the Clean and Lean Kit.
Well, one of the things I wanted to mention too is why the liver is so important in terms of processing toxicity and why you got to support all phases, all 4 phases of
Oh,
it.
I want to hear this one. Is this tied into the energetic component?
You got it. It can be with the liver. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, it means you're angry." Okay, well that could be one reason. But it's usually irrational frustration, aggression, rage, guilt, or fear. Sometimes it's like this desire to inflict self-punishment and even sabotage your forward process. It can be inner struggle and conflict or difficulty making decisions, often finding fault or blaming others. Sometimes people with active, angry livers at the moment are inclined to act like a victim or have this poor me kind of attitude. Maybe they don't listen. They're overlooking other people's advice and suggestions. Sometimes it's about difficulty forgetting and letting go. And it can cause also trouble sleeping, relaxing, and trusting. So
Oh, you took the word.
the
Yeah.
liver's pretty important,
Well,
in terms of helping us stay regulated.
yeah, you read my mind, I guess. So we're in sync. So that's a good sign. Chinese medicine, right? The biorhythms. It says if you wake up around 2 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
that's usually liver function. Yeah. The body's gonna be,
Interesting.
yeah. So when you tie that into sleeping patterns, that's exactly why. So the blood sugar will be dumped by the liver. So you have this surge of blood sugar, and people wake up, they're wide awake, and they may be really hungry, but it's really difficult to go back to sleep. Usually around 2 o'clock, this is going to occur, and that's exactly why. So we need to cleanse. For many reasons, and one of them is going to help improve your sleep. And what's interesting enough is that's where you detoxify. Is usually all night while you're sleeping, and you build your hormones between 3 and 6 a.m. So if you're not sleeping properly, those are gonna be some of the things that suffer.
Oh, wow. Well, I am really excited about our next product because it's brand new and it is so helpful for those of us on the go. It is our Ultimate Shake and Proline Greens in single serving packets.
What? In packets?
Yes, all together. I'm so excited.
Greens and Ultimate Shake in a packet, so, like, when I travel, I can take a couple packets with me?
Oh my God, I am so excited. Or, if you just want for a specified period of time, your own little mini detox kit.
Oh, that's a great idea, Christine. I love that. So if you want to do like maybe a weekend warrior 3 day cleanse, you can do it with 6 packs. Maybe you do 2 shakes a day and then, a clean and lean meal at night. So I love this. So it has all the nutrients of the ultimate shake, all the nutrients of the greens in a single serving packet, easy to take with you anywhere. And I really love the idea of modifying that cleansing program, right? So you can do it for one day. There was times where I've done 3, 4, or 5 shakes. Dr. Bob, he has people on a 3 day cleanse a lot of times just on shakes for 2 to 3 days. And this would make it a lot easier for people to be compliant. Then I love the fact that, like, you're going to work, you can throw it in the purse or your travel bag. If you're going out of town for a couple days, rather than bringing the big container, you can take the packets with you. So great idea and great formulation. Very excited for this one.
Yeah, and this is in our original, right? The original pineapple coconut and the apple greens. So everything you need is right in it and it tastes incredible. Now, another formula that we use in detox is UT cleanse. And, most of the time when you think about, UT or urinary tract infections, you think you got to go immediately to the hospital and get on a round of probiotics. Well, that's what I used to think. On the occasion that I suffer from that, I have used our UT cleanse and it's a drink and it tastes great. So, why does this work so well, James?
Well, I love this because this is a formula we developed in the world of wellness. And we used to give people about 4 different products. We'd give them some type of D-mannose, right?
Hmm.
D-mannose is actually an interesting ingredient. It's a sugar, but what it does is actually it kind of tricks the bad bacteria, right? They migrate right to it and it sticks to it, and then it's pulled out of the body.
Hmm.
So D-mannose, a really interesting nutrient. It actually can bind and remove a lot of these toxins. They say up to about 90% of the bad bacteria will bind right. It's like a magnet. So it binds right to the toxins. The other thing is we always use is cranberry, right? If your mom or grandma or aunt or you or friends, had any type of UTI, they would always go for the cranberry juice, right?
Yep.
And rather than using the juice with the sugar, which may feed the bacteria, we use cranberry as a nutraceutical. And we use one called Cranmax, which is actually a patented research trademarked ingredient. And we do that because the cranberry has a very cleansing ability for the UT area. So the urinary tract is actually cleaned out when you take something like cranberry. So very therapeutic, and it actually protects all the antioxidants from the GI from being broken down. So D-mannose is like a magnet. The Cranmax is like a cleanser, kind of sweeps through. And then we have things in there too, like dandelion, which is great to help clean out the kidneys and bladder. So this is a very comprehensive formula. And rather than going separately, like most programs to take probiotic, they're in there. It's like mama sauce,
Mm.
right? It's all in there. It's an all in one. And you know what? I've been using this the last couple months.
You've had a UTI?
No, but I've had it. I had one years ago,
Okay. All
but
right.
I use it because I just felt like when I was using the restroom that maybe things can be a little cleaner. So
Mm.
I added this in with the IgG, my super creatine and GI, and that's kind of my pre-workout drink in the morning. And I'll tell you what, the bladder is kidneys, everything's feeling really good. I can definitely tell that the belt size goes down, and you can tell like the urine doesn't have the odor. It looks clearer, and you just feel a lot better. So we
Well,
have
you
things
wanna know
in.
why you might get a UTI?
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
So when we talk about right, typically we're thinking about, like you mentioned, the bladder and the kidneys. So if we look at the bladder, when you're having trouble there, it could be feeling timid or wishy-washy, or it could be annoyed, irritable, sad, really a sense of powerlessness and frustration. There is a little anger usually that goes along with that, and it's typically with a partner or a person you're close to. So if your wife gets a UTI, look out. Wanting to be somewhere else other than where you are, maybe holding on to past worries, which stop you from moving forward, maybe even having like a lack of boundaries or feeling like you need your own space. Those are all things when the bladder starts to say, hey, I need some help here. That's what's going on underneath that. With the kidneys, it's very similar because they're really related, right? It's kind of living with guilt or regret or resentment and blame, really old sadness, like maybe holding on to
Mm.
destructive beliefs and memories from the past. So the kidneys are really about, it's kind of interesting. They're in the back of the body and they're also about old, ancient, hurts, suffering with a limited short term memory because all the attention is stuck in the past. Can be exhaustion, depression, and focusing on a lot of the negative aspects of life, not being able to trust, difficulty dealing with challenging situations, sometimes a giving up. So before you do that, get a soul intelligence session so we can clear that energy out there and then start taking UT cleanse because that is delicious and really clears things up quickly. I was impressed. I did it twice a day, I think for 3 days, and the UTI I had at the time was gone.
Oh, wow. In 3 days?
3 days.
Well, maybe that's why instinctively I decided just to try it, right? Because everything
Mm.
you just went down which had some challenges in Q4 of 2025. So instinctively, I went on that, and it's really helped me out tremendously, along with the soul intelligence courses. So, how do people get involved in 2026? Because I love this SQ4U.
Absolutely. Well, if anybody's interested in learning more about what am I talking about with soul intelligence, we have IQ, we've got EQ. Well, this is SQ, soul intelligence. And it's really paying attention to the body. It's paying attention to those underlying trapped negative energies, emotions, thoughts, recurring patterns, old trauma. Our body stores everything. And it's stored in our subconscious mind. Now, our physical body is really the barometer to the subconscious mind. It tells us what's going
Mm.
on. So you just have to have someone help you figure out what that really is, right? So if you're interested in learning more, you can go to soul, as in SOUL, intelligencemethod.com. So soulintelligencemethod.com, you'll see all the ways to work with me or one of my neuroenergetic health practitioners. And if you're interested in learning how to use this method for yourself, I have a course that Jamie just mentioned. It's a weekend workshop. It's called SQ for You, that I'm doing one of those every month because I've had such great feedback and response, and I want people to get better, right? And I know if you can clear the energy out and the things that have been holding you back, this is the science of bioenergetics, which is the correlation between your physical well being and your mental and emotional well being. So to heal completely and holistically, we got to get it out from every single place. Now, speaking of getting things out, Max Lax is the ultimate when we're talking about getting some out of the body.
Yes.
that, that is because of all the senna leaf, I think, that is in this formulation
Yeah,
in particular.
it's interesting because when you look at it, people are like, well, why Max Lax if someone's constipated? This is also like you can't wash the dishes if you have a clogged drain. So if your drain is clogged, you need to take on Max-Lax. Now you had mentioned senna leaf, right? This is have a history of safe and very effective for stimulating the small intestine to have a spontaneous bowel movement, right?
Mm.
And we've actually had some clients with some very profound, testimonials. You want to share any of those?
Oh my gosh. One of our brand ambassadors, Dr. Bob Rakowski, he's a world renowned speaker. He's an amazing doctor. and he was doing his own podcast, and he took Maxlax to try it for the first time, and he actually had to stop the podcast to go take care of what he needed to get rid of,
Yeah,
before he
he
came
didn't
back.
stop the filming, he just ran and the podcast went viral, so it does work.
So, it is super effective, right? It's actually more effective. I've heard of people using it. A lot of times when you go through an operation, they give you drugs that
Yeah.
stop you up, right? And so this has been a really effective formula for people, post operation to be able to get things regular again.
Yeah, and we added in a couple other key nutrients, right? Like aloe, which is very soothing. So,
Mm.
if you're cleansing, it's nice to have the aloe in there to soothe it. This formula was developed, of course, by Dr. Lan, our medical director and brand ambassador. And he says, one of the most common reasons people go to the pharmacist is what?
Oh, the number one reason actually he researched why people go to the pharmacy is to get a laxative.
Yeah. And it's partly because we mentioned on the last show, lack of fiber in their diet,
Mm.
stress, medications, pain medication makes people very constipated. So there's a lot of reasons why too much dairy products, too much sugar, not enough movement, not enough water. But number one reason, so we have a comprehensive formula. We mentioned the senna, we mentioned the aloe. We also added psyllium husk, which is a nice, gentle fiber that has really helped with frequency and straining because it'll give you a little more bulk in there. And so it'll help the bowels, keep moving and well formed. We also added a probiotic. And in this version, the Ruteri is very specific for the GI tract, the urinary tract, and really improves gut motility. So this is a very comprehensive formula, and we didn't stop there. We added something called beta 1 glucan. And beta glucans are interesting because they really help with viruses and bacteria. So we're cleansing up the gut. We want to get the bowels moving. We want to make sure that we are taking all these things right through and that you can have a nice healthy bowel movement.
And how many should you take at one time?
Well, it depends on who you're recommending this to. If your spouse is giving you a hard time, then you could tell them 3. But now if you want to be nice and gentle, how about we start with 1?
Yeah, I would always say take one and titrate up.
You probably don't need to go much over 1. So
Now
yeah,
this is
Max Flax you use that's a very short term or
yes.
acute formula. And so on a serious note, if you are backed up or you're bloated or you're trying to, flush out some toxins and some waste, maybe you're getting ready to go to the beach. A lot of people use that for a couple days just to kind of clean up from everything from going to the beach to, making sure you're fitting in your dress to competitors that want to make sure that they got all that intestinal tract cleaned out. So Max Lax, acute or short term.
All right. Well, liposomal glutathione is really fun. When we get together with our clients at some events, we like to do shots of liposomal glutathione. Doesn't sound as exciting, but it's actually really good for your body. And it's a really delicious formula.
Yeah, this is interesting because glutathione is the master antioxidant in the liver, right? And people do IV glutathione, right? There's been sublingual, there's been gels, but glutathione, really has a foul odor. It's very smells like
Smells like rotten
sulfur.
eggs, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
rotten eggs.
Gross.
Yes. So no one likes that. So when we're coming out with the different versions, we're like, all right, we need a liposomal. The liposomal formula is going to be much more bioavailable,
Mm-hmm.
and we want it in a liquid form. I know you and Harriet, of course, love doing shots of the great flavors. So how does it taste? Shot.
Yes,
Off in
we
my
do.
head.
We do shots of liposomal glutathione, and it is delicious. It tastes like grape. And everybody who tastes it is like, I can't believe how good this tastes. And it doesn't smell.
No?
And it's really nice that CoQ10 is in there as well and vitamin C. So doesn't that sound like a good shot to take?
Oh, fantastic. And the nice thing about this is you can use it. Say you're going to the Super Bowl party or you going out to dinner or you're going on vacation and you want a little extra support while you're there or afterwards or before, due to glutathione. A lot of people will use this as a hangover helper. They'll take a shot at night and then one in the morning to make sure that they are clearing out all those toxins and providing some good antioxidants. And they're little like liquid bottles, so you can do that shot, and you know you don't have to do it every day. You can use it as you need it, or you can use it as part of a short-term detox program.
Yeah, I think, people probably wish they had had this for New Year's Day.
Oh my god, yeah. So, it's something you wanna make sure you have in your wellness cabinet at home, so as you need it, you can take it. Plus, you're feeling a little under the weather. You're feeling, a little brain fog, right? Or you gone out and maybe you didn't get enough sleep and you just don't feel like your normal self, or you've drank or ate, those type of things, then do a couple shots. Do one before you leave and one in the morning.
All
So
right,
I love
before
the
we wrap up detox, let's talk about lymphatic tincture.
The lymphatic system. I'd love to know what the energy behind this is, because
Mm,
the lymphatic system is part of our sewage system in our body.
right.
The challenge is no real pump,
Mm.
so that's why we got to use lymphatic drainage. That's why walking is so important. We have the vibration plate at the World of Wellness. It's like the old saying, taking the dog out for a walk so they get the lymphatic system moving. What is the connection with the lymph system with energy? I'd love to know more about that.
Well, it's really interesting because it's obviously, as you said, to remove excess tissue fluids, right? It produces immune and antibody cells that destroy bacteria. So basically, the lymphatic system, because of the nodes, the ducts, the vessels, as well as the spleen, the appendix, the tonsils, and the thymus, right? It's everywhere. It begins to break down when you're feeling vulnerable,
Mhm.
scared, unsupported, unloved, and rejected. So here you need to kind of focus on practicing courage and self esteem and leadership. Like focus on appreciating yourself, loving yourself, and creating a really supportive environment where you can feel comfortable to feel creative and lively and spontaneous.
I love it. That's really interesting. I was not aware of that. And I liked how you connect all of the lymph system, right? From the sinuses all the way through the body. Sometimes we just think of it as this, our fluid system that sometimes it gets congested, right? So we need a lymphatic drainage. A lot of our clients will use the lymph tincture as a key component of their clean and lean kit. So these are nice liquid herbal tinctures. Are real easy to use. You can use them for kids, adults, seniors. They are in an alcohol base, because that helps maximize the potency. We use triple strength herbs, so when people use our organic tinctures, they get incredible results. If you don't want the alcohol, all you gotta do is put it in the tea, and what burns off first is gonna be alcohol. What's left is gonna be all the liquid herbs. So a lot of people do that, let it cool down, and they can drink it. But fantastic, very comprehensive, simple, and very effective.
Awesome. Well, we have obviously a lot of formulas related to detox, right? Because we want to make sure that we're taking care of the body and we're getting rid of everything that we don't need. And that's really the basis of the soul intelligence method, getting rid of everything that's holding you back that you no longer need mentally, emotionally, energetically. So it's a really cool blend on how we support all of our body systems physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, ultimately energetically.
Yeah, and I need to get back on the schedule because yeah, I need
Well,
to
that
clear.
always happens, right? And
Yeah.
it's always like the massage therapist never massages the spouse that needs it. So we do. We need to make some time.
No, because that program has been, so helpful for me personally. It's like almost like an oil change for my brain. Like, I feel so much better when I'm done. And, no, a lot of people don't, it's like, they always ask me, "What is soul intelligence?"
Right.
I'm like, "Look, it's a method to help you clear out anything that's holding you back." We have all these things that we stick deep down inside, and, at some point, you need to release them. And not only with the clean and lean kit, but with the soul intelligence, with the diet, with the water, everything works together. So, really excited for 2026. This is a great way to kick it off for our clean and lean kit. We've done the microbial and the detox and the GI, and what a great way to get started in 26. The year that everyone's going to go on that horse on the beach and go full steam ahead, right?
Absolutely. Well, when you add the numbers up, people are like, what do you mean 2025 was a 9 year? What do you mean 2026 is a 1 year? Basically, just add the digits up. Okay. So 2026 is a 10, right? But you reduce it down to a single digit. So it's a
Mm.
1. So collectively, we're all getting started. We're starting a new 10-year cycle. So the best way to start a new cycle, right, is to detox so that everything is clean and ready to go. Now,
Well,
if
I'm
you
excited. Yes. New
Well,
beginnings.
if you liked what you heard today, we would encourage you to share, like, comment, and make sure you get this to somebody who really needs to hear it, who really needs to detox. And if you're interested in trying any of our detox formulas, just go to nutritionalfrontiers.com and you'll see a number of our detox formulas on sale this quarter because we want to support everybody's detox and healing and kicking the year off right.
Oh, thank you so much, Christine. So excited. 2026 is off to a great start already. Looking forward to helping so many people and making the world and your world healthy. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate all the support and God bless. Thanks for tuning in to the Holistic Truth Podcast.
If this episode spoke to you, please follow the show and share it with someone ready to take charge of their well-being. And if you can, leave us a review. It helps others find our podcast.
For more tools and practitioner support, visit nutritionalfrontiers.com.